What's up, guys? Welcome back for another K-pop news story. In this one, we're talking about the molestation accusations that have been leveled at the newest member, Baekho. And obviously, newest as a group has become popular because of their involvement, or members' involvement in Produce 101. And that, I guess that really kind of is potentially the catalyst for why all of this has been happening. So, like I do with all of these news videos here, I'm gonna give you some of the details so that you guys got an idea of what is going on, and then I will share my thoughts and opinions on the story. So if that's what you kind of want to hear, just some more of, stay up to date with the K-pop news and hear what I've got to say, then please do consider clicking on the subscribe button down below. So let's get into the information, the story here, because there's actually a very massive amount of information that is out there, because the victim has, or the alleged victim or whatever, has put out a nice, well, multiple, but we'll get into details on that later, but she's put out a nice lengthy, list of things full of details and all that stuff as to, what happened, where it happened, when it happened, all of this kind of stuff. Good. That's really, really good. So she posted her initial thing back, I think it was in May, if I remember correctly. I didn't take note of the date for that, unfortunately. That's my fault for this video. But she posted it sometime in the relatively near yet not immediate past. So definitely, a while ago. And it's kind of just now sort of, come out again, because I guess she deleted it and then she posted it again, and people kind of were like, there's things here are wrong, right? And really the thing is, or the discrepancies between the two, or the discrepancies that corrected things which were incorrect and didn't make any sense, I suppose, in the first one. The two big ones, there's a bunch, there's actually a pretty significant number of them, but they're all kind of, I would say, mostly minor. Mostly about minor details as to like what the scene of the crime was, as she explained it, or as she detailed what the situation was at the time that the whole event happened. But the big thing is that in the initial one, she kind of detailed the school, and the school that they both went to kind of prove a connection that they had, and also, of course, as is very, very important, kind of establish the date and time and all the date and year and all that stuff that things happened. And so this happened in the initial posting that she put up, it was 7 years ago, but then when the corrected one and all that, it was then 8 years ago. And she also changed school because because just what she posted didn't really kind of reflect reality as to where he graduated from middle school, whatever the school was. Because of course she said he and she graduated from some school in Jeju, in which he graduated from a school in Seoul because he was part of Pledis. He was a trainee at Pledis, so he was at the Pledis. He was with Pledis pretty much. So that's why he was at school where he was at school in Seoul, and that is also why the year that she initially posted did not specifically match. So people were pointing out all of these little discrepancies, and she's come back and said like, yeah, things were wrong. I admit that I kind of, deleted the first one because there was a lack of information, a little bit of criticism, because things were a little weaker than they should have been. So things got changed, and, the school and the date and all of this stuff got changed. And the real reason that she put, and the big reason, is that, one, really, she was kind of typing it all out in a fit of rage, which is kind of understandable considering, like, if you believe what actually happens, that you would be a little upset. I'm very, very upset about it at the time that you're, rehashing what happened. And then there's also the aspect of, trauma, and the fact that the human mind is just horrible at remembering things in general, well, I should say, just in general, isn't particularly useful in eyewitness testimony when it comes to crimes and stuff like that, because it's kind of been proven they tend to misremember the way things happen, because of course you kind of have a thing that you want to happen, and so you say what you want what you want to have happened. So there's all of this stuff that you got to consider, that like she is potentially a victim of some sort of actual trauma, which would have caused potentially some issues with remembering things in the exact detail as to, you know, how it happened, right? Understandably, you probably want to block out and repress a lot of those memories so you don't particularly remember. And of course, you kind of have to just go off of educated guesses as to what the details are. So there's not necessarily a reason to completely throw out what she said, but the big thing that does lead the whole statement that she put out to be a little suspect, in my mind at least, is the fact that she got the schools wrong and then changed them, and then also got the year wrong as well and then changed it. So that makes it a little bit fishy, but of course, I'm really not the one that is, you know, the one that's going to decide. I don't really have an opinion one way or another on what has happened. Pledis Entertainment is like, this stuff is actually 100% false. They've released actually multiple statements over the course of this to kind of respond to all of the different corrections and the things that this girl has put out to say it's just 100% false, and we're going to be pursuing legal legal action. We're going to sue her for you know, spreading this false information. And I mean, that's appropriate. That's what normally happens in general. I mean, whether or not this stuff is true, it just is generally harmful to this guy's reputation. It's going to be harmful to the reputation of the company. And of course, it's going to be harmful to the reputation of the K-pop group that he's a part of. So whether it's true or not, it's just kind of standard procedure to just sue the person who's trying to, you know, destroy you through whatever. And of course, then we just take it to the court of law, and the court of law will decide based on the evidence that has been presented. So, I mean, we're not going to see any of that, I don't think. We're probably not going to really see whatever the evidence is. We're just going to hear whatever the final verdict was, and that's going to be it. So hopefully things work out for whoever, I mean, you know, whoever is right or wrong. Hopefully things work out that way. And, you know, we don't have like, you know, like an O.J. Simpson kind of thing where like everyone knows he did it, but he's still not found not guilty of the charges in which he was facing, you know, something like that. But I don't even know. It's just the thing. And then it just kind of brings up the point, and something that I kind of talked about, I think, back with the whole Park Hyun sexual assault thing too, is that like in that instance there were a couple women who had some pretty valid complaints or accusations and evidence to kind of support them. And then there were a bunch of others that came out and just made shit up just because. And, you know, because I guess they're, you know, sharks in water and they smelled the blood, so then they were just like, oh, we gotta go. So it kind of is a little, I don't know, in all honesty, and this is a thing that I really don't like, and I don't really want to say this, I don't really want to put it out there, but it's just something I can't help but think, is that this happened 8 years ago. And, you know, people apparently knew about it. I mean, she said it happened in our Boston school. Initially, she said her brother was sitting next to her, but then she changed that to say that he wasn't. And, you know, that the families actually knew what had actually happened. And so now, after he's actually achieved some sort of, you know, level of success is when this actually comes out. She didn't go to the police about it either. She just posted it up on some public forum, you know, up on the internet for everyone to see. And that's not really how you get things changed. That's how you basically drag someone through the mud in public. That's how you publicly shame somebody who's posted stuff on the internet. It legitimately doesn't even matter what it is. Whether it's, you know, an accusation of sexual assault or just saying that the, I don't like you know, there's a thing where people just smoked cigarettes and drank when they were in high school, you know, that all the kids were gangsters and they just had bad attitudes, right? When all it really does is just, all it really is meant to kind of defame somebody who's become popular for some reason. And like that, this whole you know, bit right here isn't really saying that she's right or wrong, or that her accusation is valid or invalid. I have no idea, of course. But what it does do, of course, is instead of like letting the entire matter be decided by law, you know, by a judge following the laws of Korea or wherever it is that you're based, what you do is then you take that to the court of public opinion, or, you know, you just basically leave it up to public opinion where every single person is their own judge and they have a verdict. And then, you know, a lot of times what happens there is just the hive mind just starts buzzing, and like you got one narrative, and a lot of times that's the one narrative that gets pushed. And, you know, a lot of times the people who shout the loudest are the ones that are heard and the ones that get the most support. So it's really just kind of unfortunate. I really do not ever like when people come out and say publicly, without necessarily going to the police, to start it all off with, because I mean, as far as I know, she didn't, to just go and say like, hey, all of this horrible stuff happened, and I'm not going to go to the police, but I'm just going to post it online somewhere. That really is, I don't like that. I don't agree with that approach. I just absolutely don't like it. It's horrible. It stinks. It just is absolutely awful. Because, like I said, that really does nothing for you in a legal sense, but what it does do is drag the person's reputation and name through the mud and ruin their public image, which I absolutely hate that. Like, why? I personally don't get why anyone would be really motivated to do that. Although, I suppose if you're a victim of some sexual assault or if you were molested, then I could understand that. I really do. But at the same time, like, there's better ways, more efficient and more effective ways to go about it. And ultimately, right, at the end of the day, if he gets found guilty of actually molesting this girl, he's gonna face some sort of punishment, and his whole career is gonna be done anyway. So, the result is it. But of course, I suppose maybe that's not really the intention. I have no idea. Now we're drawing conclusions and making judgment, and that is really not what I want to do, because I have no idea. We've got some of the facts. We don't have all of the facts. We don't even have the capability to do an actual thorough investigation like the police do. So we're just going to leave it up to the authorities, to the courts, to decide, we'll just see how things unfold in the future. But I don't know. I think the entire situation just kind of stinks a little bit as to like the way that it's gone down, and just all of it. It doesn't feel right to me. But like I said, it's not really because like. It really just doesn't feel right, more because she's airing her dirty laundry in public when, like, this is a serious crime, and you should probably go to the police before posting it up on a random blog post online, right? Those are just my thoughts, and I just rambled all about that for just way too long. So that's all that I have got to say about this. I'm going to end it before I talk too long and my phone dies, so I can't record the next video. So that's going to be it for this video. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.